Through Weight Loss by Hers, you can give yourself something to be excited about in 2025. You can spend the new year in control of your weight by losing up to an average of 9 pounds in your first month. This is based on data that real Hers customers have reported based on their personalized compounded GLP-1 treatment plans. Hers is transforming women's healthcare by providing access to affordable weight loss treatment plans, delivered straight to your door if prescribed. Hers offers a holistic weight loss program with personalized solutions, including compounded GLP-1 weekly injections, featuring the same active ingredient as Ozempic and Wegovy or oral medication kits. So if you've been struggling with your weight loss journey, it's time for you to find the best option that works for you through Hers. Start your initial free online visit today at forhers.com/KKC. That's forhers.com/KKC for your personalized weight loss treatment options. forhers.com/KKC. Hers weight loss is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions apply. Wegovy and Ozempic are not compounded. Actual price depends on product and plan purchased. Okay, you want to look luxurious but not spend a lot of money? I got you covered. With Quince, you're going to treat yourself to everyday luxury at an affordable price. Something everyone needs in their closet, in my opinion. Quince's iconic Mongolian cashmere sweaters, guess what? They start at $50. Or if you really want to up your luxe factor, check out their Italian leather bags, washable silk skirts, and European linen sheet sets. Whatever you're looking for, all Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. It's because they partner directly with top factories and cut the costs of the middleman, passing the savings on to you. And also they work with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. And of course, they use premium fabrics and finishes for that luxury feel. You guys need to go get yourself the bodysuits. That's my new obsession. Look great with jeans or a skirt. Treat yourself this winter without the luxury price tag. Go to quince.com/KKC for 365-day returns, plus free shipping on your order. That's QUINCE.com/KKC to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/KateCasey.
The amazing Kate Casey.
Welcome back for another episode of Reality Life with Kate Casey, and welcome to a whole new week. I've got some great episodes for you this week. First, I have to tell you, I just finished The House of My Mother by Shari Franke. Oh my gosh. This one is an absolute must read, especially if you've been following the story of Ruby Franke. So last week, I covered the phenomenon behind family vlogging in episode 1998 with Kate Kennedy, noting the story of the Stoffers. And there are many parallels to the story in this book. So here's the background. In 2015, Ruby Franke and her husband, Kevin, began a YouTube channel in which they documented family life with their 6 children in the lakeside suburb of Springville, Utah. They eventually amassed about 2.5 million followers. But alarm bells were first raised in 2020 when skeptics of their channel, 8 passengers, began to grow worried about the Mormon family's strict household. Numerous people signed an online petition asking Child Protective Services to investigate the Franke family. The petition cited a number of controversial videos that she uploaded on that page, including one in which her oldest son, Chad, says that his mother took his bed away from him for 7 months after he played a prank on his siblings. He said, "I was sleeping on a beanbag since October, and this is while she's laughing on camera." She slammed her critics, according to the rap, and remained steadfast that she and her husband's stern parenting style, sharing videos explaining how she'd take away a child's bed as punishment or withholding a meal as a teaching lesson. So eventually she stopped posting videos on her channel, and then she joined the Connections Parenting Advice podcast with a local Mormon therapist, Jody Hildebrandt. And they held divisive thoughts on parenting, religion, sexuality, race, and other social and political issues. So here's the timeline. August of 2023, children are found malnourished. Utah police receive a call about a starved child being found, and they shared in a press release that the minor, who appeared emaciated and malnourished with open wounds and duct tape around the extremities, was taken to a hospital in severe condition. He was later identified as Ruby's 12-year-old son, according to a probable cause affidavit that was obtained by NBC News. So he had been at the home of Ruby's business partner, the one I mentioned, Jody Hildebrandt, and had climbed out of a window before going to a neighbor's house to ask for help, per the document. Police then searched a nearby home where another child was found, and in a similar physical condition of malnourishment, and was also hospitalized per the press release. So authorities later explained that they discovered Ruby's 9-year-old daughter petrified while sitting by herself in an empty closet in Jody's house. And that was per evidence released by the Washington County Attorney's Office. So Ruby was arrested for aggravated child abuse charges in Utah, along with Jody, who in 2007 established a life coaching service called Connections, the same as the podcast, which former clients described to NBC News as a cult-like program based on the principles of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So what was happening was this. Jody held Ruby's 12-year-old son and 9-year-old daughter in a work camp-like setting. So they were regularly denied food, water, beds to sleep in, and virtually all forms of entertainment. They were also prohibited from interacting with others and were hidden in the home when others came to visit, forced to do physical tasks like carrying loads of boxes up and down stairs and sitting against a wall without a chair or stool for hours at a time. The children were also forced to do manual labor outdoors in the extreme summer heat and without shoes or socks. They were similarly forced to stand outside on a cement patio in the summer heat for hours and even days. They were beaten, and the 12-year-old boy was bound hand and foot after a previous attempt at running away. Additionally, the children suffered emotional abuse to the extent that they came to believe that they deserved the abuse. December 18th of 2023, she pleads guilty to 4 counts of aggravated child abuse. December 27th, 2023, Jody Hildebrandt, the licensed therapist who ran the online self-improvement program with her, also pled guilty to 4 counts of aggravated child abuse. So the investigation found that the religious extremism motivated by both of them to inflict the abuse, believing the abuse that they inflicted was necessary to teach the children how to properly repent for imagined sins and also to cast the evil spirits out of their bodies. On the day of the arrest, Ruby's oldest daughter, Shari, expressed relief. She said, finally, she wrote on Instagram, she said, today has been a big day. Me and my family are so glad justice is being served. We've been trying to tell the police and CPS for years about this, and I'm so glad they finally decided to step up. On February 20th, 2024, the judge in Utah's 5th Judicial District Court sentenced Ruby and Jody to serve 4 to 30 years in the Utah State Prison, the maximum sentence for this type of an offense. And because of Utah's indeterminate sentencing laws, the Utah Board of Pardons and Parole now oversees the length of their prison sentence. So February 20th of 2024, Ruby apologizes. She does this during her sentencing. She says, for the past 4 years, I've chosen to follow counsel and guidance that has led me into a dark delusion. My distorted version of reality went largely unchecked as I would isolate from anyone who challenged me. She continued, to my babies, you are part of me. I believe dark was light and right was wrong. I would do anything in this world for you. I took from you all that was soft and safe and good. Now, having read her daughter's book, it is absurd for her to put all the onus on Jody because she already had a very distorted version of reality well before Jody was in the picture. March 25th, 2024, parts of her diary were revealed. Prosecutors released her chilling journal entries in which she wrote of her mistreatment of her children, including her satanic tween son, which is absurd. He slithers and sneaks around looking for opportunities when no one is watching, and then he scurries. And this was from an entry from July of 2023, which was her son's 12th birthday, by the way, a 12-year-old boy. If he wants to emulate the Savior, he needs to be 100% obedient with his exactness, no wavering, no hiding. And then she wrote about punishing her children by beating them and withholding food and water. Now, the husband, you're asking me at this point, where is this husband? I mean, reading this book, what a bozo. Does not have a backbone at all. Prosecutors released audio footage of him talking with investigators after Ruby was arrested, in which he spoke about alleged restrictions that he faced in their house. There were all these rules now placed on me, he said, like I can leave when I want, but I couldn't come back until Ruby gave me permission. I couldn't come into the kitchen to eat until Ruby gave me permission, and the upstairs where Jody was completely offline. So there was a bedroom where the two of them, it would be locked, and no one was given permission to just walk into the room. And the husband, the bozo husband, is just okay with this. And to the point where Jody is dictating, he's not even married to Jody. She's dictating when he can enter the home. I couldn't go upstairs anymore in my own house, and Ruby would dictate all the terms of how our interactions would be when we would talk, and that was hard. Meanwhile, it's very clear to him that the mother of his children are abusing them, and he's just sort of like out for the count. It's bizarre. The House of My Mother is the book by their eldest daughter, Shari. It's the shocking true story behind the viral 8 passengers family vlog and the hidden abuse she suffered at the hands of her mother, and how, in the face of unimaginable pain, she found freedom and healing. Her childhood was a constant battle for survival. Ruby enforced a severe moral code while maintaining a facade of a picture-perfect family for social media. But a darker truth lurked beneath the surface. Her wholesome online persona masked a more tyrannical parenting style than anyone could have imagined. As the family's YouTube notoriety grew, so did her delusions of righteousness. Fueled by the sadistic influence of relationship coach Jody Hildebrandt, together they implemented an inhumane and merciless disciplinary regime. She leaves no stone unturned. The weird relationship between Ruby and Jody, how they would spend hours together behind closed doors and on trips, leaving the kids behind. How her father was basically a pushover and left his family for a year because Jody said it was best. So no communication with his family at all. That she said, this is the best for you and for their family. And he was convinced of it. He's like, you know what? You're right. I should totally leave the house, not communicate with anybody because I need to work on myself. I mean, talk about a mind-bending story. So I highly recommend it. It's called The House of My Mother. Now, I'm going to go on Glamorous Trash podcast with Chelsea Devantes, and we're going to really go through every part of this book. So I'm telling you, I'm adding it to the Reality Life with Kate Casey book club, must read, especially if you've followed the story. There's even more to it. What a brave woman for writing this, and her advocacy now in helping other families, vlogging families, very inspirational. So well done, Shari Franke. Very well done. My new goal this year is hydration. My days get so busy, it's actually the one thing that I always forget to do. And I love Liquid IV. It is powered by hydroscience, and it helps you break the mold. They've got great flavors, like my personal favorite, the pina colada. Think about how much you are working out. Are you refueling? How much did you actually drink to rehydrate? Liquid IV is leading the way in flavor innovation. They've got a ton of great flavors, including the sugar-free flavors like raspberry lemonade, white peach, and rainbow sherbet. You can break the mold and own your own ritual. Just one stick plus 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone. 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, 8 essential vitamins and nutrients, and always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. Embrace your ritual with extraordinary hydration from Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code KateCasey at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today by using promo code KateCasey at liquidiv.com. This episode is sponsored by Acorns. Acorns makes it easy to start automatically saving and investing so your money is the chance to grow for you, your kids, and your retirement. You don't need to be rich. Acorns lets you invest with the spare money you've got right now. You can start with $5 or even just your spare change, and you don't need to be an expert. Acorns will recommend a diversified portfolio that fits you and your money goals. Head to acorns.com/KKC or download the Acorns app to start saving and investing for your future today. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Tier 1 compensation provided. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors LLC and SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/KKC. Now, in this episode, I interview Lacey Mosley. From Freeform and from ABC News Studios, Scam Goddess is based on the podcast of the same name. Lacey is a fresh voice in true crime, combining comedy with the real-world cons. So in the show, she'll talk to both the scammers and the scammed and immerse herself in the details of the crime. She takes her expertise on the road, uncovering small-town swindles and big city cons from across the U.S. From Ponzi schemes to religious scammers to fake royalty. She meets whistleblowers, victims, and even the scammers themselves, tracking down the culprits with her signature wit, leaving no stone or scam unturned. So 3 episodes. One is about the largest municipal theft in U.S. history. another one about wire and securities fraud, and the other one, The Holy Hustle, exposing a fraud of biblical proportions as Bishop Lamar Whitehead builds a flashy church. The episodes are now available on Hulu. Here's my interview with Lacey. Now, Lacey, you're a girl after my own heart because there's nothing I love more than a good scammer. I can spot a grifter a mile away. I believe people who are attuned to this world, it's because they knew a scammer early in life and they've learned all their tricks of the trade. There has to be someone in your previous life, earlier life, that tipped you off to the world of scamming, because no one comes into this world without having some sort of understanding of the way that they operate.
Wow, that is such a fun way to put it. I've never thought about it that way. And I'm a scam goddess, and I've never thought about it that way. I guess it would be my mother.
Oh, okay.
She just taught me a different way of living. Like, she wasn't actually doing crime, but she was a serial entrepreneur. She's had every job you can think of, like singing with Kirk Franklin and the Family, being a radio DJ host, hairstylist. She's the VP of HR now. I mean, she just has always had so many different hats. And she taught me that everything is made up. And I remember the most reinforcing part of that was when I was going to college and I really wanted to go out of state. I didn't want to go to college at all. I just wanted to move to Hollywood and be a Hollywood actor, baby. And my parents were like, no, we go to college. And I was like, okay. And so I had applied to a bunch of schools, and the University of Pittsburgh offered me a partial scholarship. And my mom called them and she was like, give her the full scholarship.
What?
Yeah. She was like, she was like, if you don't use that money, you lose it. So you might as well use it on my daughter who's going to add value to your school. So give her the full scholarship. And they did.
What?
Did you know you can negotiate scholarships?
No, but I salute that. That's pretty impressive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So do you think that if given different circumstances, she could have either been a cult leader or have been the second in command and got all the troops together?
She's for sure a cult leader.
Yeah. Okay.
Cult light,
cult
she's
light,
not, no volleyball, no weird brands, nobody trying to touch you, but definitely she's got cult leader energy.
So then when did the podcast start?
In 2019.
And what was the first scam that you covered and got fully invested into?
My first scam was with Paul F. Tompkins.
Love him.
And we did love him. And we did McMillions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which that's when I really realized I had a different relationship with scams than other true crime formats, because a lot of times, you'll see a documentary about something like that, and the whole focus is the police were following them and digging through their trash, and they found a post-it note, and la la la. And I'm like, that's not interesting to me. I want to know what you were spending the money on. I want to know who you were lying to. Did you have a lie journal? How did you keep up with all of this? How do you cook books? What seasonings do I need? I was more interested in the life that you were living as a con artist versus catching you. That to me is just boring. So yeah, that's where I really knew I fell in love with it, because I wanted to see the other side, all the other angles.
And do you find a common thread to all of these scammers?
Yes. That common thread is being what I call a confidence artist.
Yeah.
So we call it con artist, but it's really the confidence to walk into any room knowing no one there, you're not supposed to be there, or pretend you have a degree that you definitely did not study at anybody's school for. It's just having the confidence to go do things that you want to do, even if you're not qualified. That's something that is a through line with all of these scammers.
So over time, do you find that these small time scammers, are they more interesting to you than the big time scammers? Like a David Koresh versus, for example, one of the 3 cases that you have in the series. Do you find them to be more compelling?
No, I look at them as businesses. Scammers have multiple different industries. You have your love fraudsters, you have your credit card fraudsters. You have people who run Ponzi schemes, multi-level marketing schemes, cults. They're all different. And so I look at them as small businesses and large corporations, and I'm interested in all of them.
And do you find that there are some people that are more successful in the long grift?
Yes. The people who, they're actually the most sinister to me. People who do long cons, I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like every day you got up and lied to this person. You are sick. Someone who does a short-term con, I can understand that more because maybe it was like, let me get the money and run.
Right.
But a long-term grifter to me is just like so nasty.
Yeah. Like Ilaria Baldwin or my dad, who both have fake accents. So yes, I totally agree with you.
Okay, listen, she's funny though. She's very unserious. And for some reason, I can't be mad at her. Do you know her children's names?
Yeah, they're all like Hispanic names.
Yes. That's how
Carmen,
much she committed to the bit.
That's a long grift. Yeah. But that's a long-term grift. But when you begin with ballroom dancing and then you end with having 7 children with Hispanic names, that's a long grift.
I mean,
that's like my dad. You need to hang out with my dad. I think you guys would have a good time.
I think I would love your dad. What's his accent? What's his fake accent?
Irish accent.
Irish?
He grew up in Philadelphia and told my husband that he went to a boarding school in Galway, Ireland. I was like, I've seen your high school yearbook and you were on the track team. Enough of this. Yes.
Oh my God. I love that he had a semester abroad and made it his whole personality.
Totally. Post-holiday, sugar crash is real. And parents, let's be honest, finding snacks that satisfy your kids and don't leave them bouncing off the walls isn't exactly easy. That's why I use Thrive Market. They make it simple to find healthier, kid-approved swaps for all of those sugary, junk-filled favorites. And the best part, they've got a healthy swap scanner in the Thrive Market app. It's a total game changer. You scan a product that your kids love, like their favorite chips or crackers, and the app shows a cleaner, healthier alternative. So my kids love Takis. I got them late July Hawaiian habanero chips. Thrive Market also takes the guesswork out of finding safe, healthy food. All of their products are 100% non-GMO and free from over 1,000 harmful ingredients. Plus, their on-site filters make it easy to shop by your family's dietary needs. For example, I eat gluten-free. The best part, everything gets delivered straight to your door, so you don't have to take that stress of searching grocery aisles or reading tiny ingredient lists. Ready for a junk-free start to 2025? Head to thrivemarket.com/Kate Casey and get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/Kate Casey. thrivemarket.com/Kate Casey.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for a roller coaster of romance. Season 29 of The Bachelor premieres Monday, January 27th, and this season's got some flavor to it. Citizens of Bachelor Nation will recognize this season's heartthrob as one of the fan favorites from Jen's season, Grant Ellis. But now he's looking to see if his wish of everlasting love will be Grant. Ed. With his infectious laugh and athletic prowess, this goofball is set to charm a house full of hopeful hearts. From candlelit dinners to adrenaline-pumping dates, watch as this day trader navigates the twists and turns of finding love in a mansion filled with 25 of America's loveliest ladies. Will Grant find his perfect match or end up with a broken portfolio? Tune in for the most exciting season yet of The Bachelor, starting this Monday, January 27th at 8/7 Central on ABC and available to stream on Hulu.
How did the television series come to be? How was it conceptualized?
So I've been doing the podcast Scam Goddess with Conan O'Brien and Sirius for a while. And then ABC reached out to me to be a talking head on the show called The Con that was hosted, voiceover by Whoopi Goldberg, who is my EGOT icon. And I said, hell yeah, sure. And so I would come and just kind of be a talking head and talk about these grifts. And then one of the producers reached out to me and was like, we can make your show into its own show. And I was like, yeah. And then I was doing iCarly and movies and other things, and things went by. And I started really thinking about it. So I did the last season of The Con, and I asked them to, in my contract, give me the footage so that I could put together a sizzle reel and like take it around town. And then that very same producer, the day that I got the cut, there's no way she could have known this because it was like physical media. Remember that? She hit me up and was like, hey, like, are you still thinking about making the show? And I was like, I couldn't believe it. And so I was like, this is the right place to do it. So what I wanted to do with Scam Goddess is like the podcast, we have photos that correspond with what we're looking at on the Instagram page. And people always really enjoy that. And then I was like, what if we just brought it to real life and went around the country and looked past the headlines? And Scam Goddess is a humanizing, funny, fun show. We make fun of the scammers. We don't make fun of the victims, but we also go into different cities and get the vibe. Because like you can't read a vibe in an article. And you can't read a vibe when you're watching a true crime doc where everyone's sitting in front of you looking at somebody off camera just recanting a story. But I'm going around town like, do y'all lock y'all doors? What's it like here? Like, what's everybody's business? Y'all went to the same high school? Like, it's like you get a sense of how these things happen because you get a sense of the culture. And that's why I loved making Scam Goddess. And that's how it came to be.
And I do like this concept because you're right. You watch true crime docs and it's oftentimes someone sitting in a chair uncomfortably and they're asking them about, you know, what someone was like in high school. And then they have these weird shots where like the first episode of this series, you're going into a town where they're obsessed with Ronald Reagan. So that's already setting a tone for me. Everything I need to know was like in the first 3 minutes. But you're going to the bars and you're like hanging out in town and you're getting to know people. And I feel like this is the blessing of a podcast is, you know, the more you talk to somebody and the more that they begin to open up. And I think if you're at a bar and they're talking about how much they love Ronald Reagan, a good 15 minutes later, and I would put the stopwatch on this, you're going to find out some very interesting information that someone who's an investigator won't pick up on. And the fact that you're a woman. You're going to tell a woman much more than a male investigator. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong at all.
Yeah.
At all.
So of these 3 cases, which one did you find most compelling? Like, obviously, you're going to walk into it with some information. And as you start talking to people, the story begins to unravel more. But was there one in particular that you walked away where you were like, I did not expect that to happen. That just blew my hair back?
I mean, I will say in the Rita Crandall episode, when I was in that bar, that was a real bar that was open at 10 a.m. and lit. And partially lit because it was Norman's birthday. Shout out to Norman. But it was a real bar. And when I said Rita's name to someone, like asking about her, you could have heard a pin drop.
Yeah.
Like I actually got terrified. I actually walked out of the bar and talked to my producers because I was really scared. I hadn't seen a Black person in days. Yeah. I was like, what are they going to do to me? Like, they were mad at that woman. And like the town was mad at that woman. So even just saying her name in their presence, like evoked such an emotion. And I was just flabbergasted. I was flummoxed. I was like scared.
Yeah. Well, then I wondered too in that scene, how hard was it throughout the series? You're going to these smaller towns. Were they excited about a film crew? Were they apt to talk? Did you find any difficulties in getting people to open up or getting access to places where you could film?
I would actually say the smaller towns were easier. You know, Opelika was very friendly, very open. We went into a lot of people's businesses, their homes, hung out with them. Even people who weren't the subject matter of the show, just getting a vibe of the town. Dixon was the same way as well. We had quite a bit of access. I would say Brooklyn was the hardest. Yeah, big cities, people are like, get away from me. You know, we don't care about a film crew. They film in here every day. Dick Wolf got 30 shows on TV. Like, get away from me. You know?
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
So the smaller towns were like actually easier access.
Yeah, because maybe some of those people are like, this is my moment to shine. And you're like, do you know how hard it is to get an agent? Like, settle down.
You don't want this life.
No. Well, okay. So this series is going to air. And I think the good people that watch, these shows, particularly this series, love a good scam story. So are we thinking there are more seasons to come?
Yeah, I mean, scamming is the second oldest profession. There's so many stories. There's so many scams. I have over 200 episodes on my podcast alone. So there's quite a bit of subject material. And unfortunately, there's always new developments. So,
Oh, do you ever have to go back and do updates on some of the previous cases?
Oh yes.
Oh, wow. I might have to jump in on one of those episodes. Lord knows I know a scammer or two.
I would love that.
Well, tell everybody where they can watch the series and where they can follow you and where they can listen to your podcast.
Well, you can watch the series Scam Goddess January 15th on Freeform, next day on Hulu. You can listen to my podcast, Scam Goddess, anywhere you get your podcast. You can buy my book, Scam Goddess, available out now. Naming things, different things is a scam. Keep the brand strong.
And by the way, a special shout out to your mom, who I now believe may have been the origin story for this whole empire. So well done.
She's the origin of me, so no doubts.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Seriously, this was wonderful.
The amazing Kate Casey.
I want to thank my guest, Lacey Mosley, and remind you to click subscribe, leave a 5-star review. Make sure that you join the Facebook group, Reality Life with Kate Casey. Also, go check out my must-watch list of what to watch this week in unscripted TV. I don't think you want to miss out on any of this. So go to katecasey.substack.com. And guess what? Bonus episodes, even more, by going to Patreon, patreon.com/Kate Casey. Please follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram at KateCaseyCA. TikTok, it's Kate Casey. Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, all Kate Casey. You got to check back for more episodes this week, including Chris DeRosa, super fired up about Natalia Grace.
At Hotels.com, we know some travelers crave sand between their toes. Others want to be poolside with a drink on the way. And more often than not, those two people end up in a relationship. With the Hotels.com app, compare properties side by side across amenities like pool and ocean view. Compromise isn't so bad when you're holding a Mai Tai by a pool with an ocean view, agreeing that, yeah, this is better than finding sand in awkward places for 3 days. Book now in the Hotels.com app and find your perfect somewhere.